Hello and welcome. In today's card tutorial, we're going to be making this very cute fall card, which is also very easy to put together. My name is Julie. You have found me here on my channel at Stamp with Julie Baum, and you can also find my website at stampwithjuliebaum.com. For those of you who are new and never seen my card tutorials or my videos before, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, I welcome you as well. Thank you so much for loyally watching. I really do appreciate it. All right, today's project is actually project number 2 from September of 2022 Stamp Club. So we met this past week. My Stamp Club is a in-person event. We did 3 projects. The first project you can find in a separate video. That is a cute little Halloween treat box. This is project number 2, and then you'll find a separate video for project number 3, which is a cute Christmas gift card holder. So do be sure and look for those separate videos as well. Let me show you the stamp set that we'll be using. This is called Hello Harvest, and it is available as the Hello Harvest bundle, which is the stamp set and the coordinating dies. It can be found in the July to December mini catalog. All right, so we'll be using this stamp set and dies exclusively. I'm not bringing in any other stamps or dies for this project. All right, the paper that we are using is a fall-ish paper. It's called Rustic Harvest. It is a 12 by 12 pack of paper, and it also is in the July to December mini catalog. Let me tell you a little bit about why I really loved this paper. Not only are the front or the A sides of the paper clearly fall or harvest. There's some with gourds, there's some with leaves, there's this cute pattern with the pumpkins. There is also this little green with the squiggle. We're using that. So that is one reason, but why I really like it as well is the back of all of the designs are black and white. So it gives you all kinds of uses for this paper long after fall or harvest. So I really liked that idea. All right, we are starting with a card base made out of Mossy Meadow cardstock. This piece measures 5.5 by 4 1/4. Then we have our designer series paper from Rustic Harvest. This is print number 1 that we're going to use. It is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I have from the same Rustic Harvest packet, but a different print. So this is DSP print number 2. This piece is 3 inches by 4 inches. Then I have a piece of basic white cardstock. This measures 3 1/4 by 8 1/2. I'm going to double check that because for some reason I was thinking it was 3. Nope, it is. It's 3 1/4. All right, 3 1/4 inches by 8 1/2. I have scored it down the center here at 4 1/4. All right, then I have a scrap of basic white cardstock. If you start with a scrap that is at least 3 inches long, you'll be fine. And my piece is 3/4 of an inch wide. You could start with a larger piece and trim it down later, but if you want to start with this size, I think it will serve you well. 3/4 inches by 3 inches. All right, then I had a scrap, a rather large scrap of Cajun Craze cardstock. And what I did off camera is I used one of the dies from the Hello Harvest bundle. It's this shape, and I cut 3 of those out. Those 3, and it has this yummy texture to it. I just love it. So it makes our pumpkin pieces look kind of textured and a little bit more realistic. So what we are going to do is build our pumpkin with those 3 pieces. Then for the stem, I cut a piece. Let me show you the die. Sometimes the dies are like, they're odd shaped and you're not sure what they're for. As soon as you see what they're for, it makes sense. But so this one, all right, this is for the stem. So I cut that out of Crumb Cake. So you just need a scrap, cut that out. And then this little piece, I had a tiny scrap of Mossy Meadow, and that lovely little curly Q vine die is this one. All right, so those are our pieces. Now, let me mention also that I previously did a video with basically this same layout of a card. The difference being that instead of using this piece, which is 4 by 5 1/4, see, we're going to attach this right here. Instead of that, I showed you how you could just use a strip of paper on this side and a strip of paper on that side. That is helpful if you either don't have enough of the designer paper that you were wanting to use, because this is a rather large piece, or if you just are into saving your paper, you can do it that way. And I'm going to link that video here. You can see up here in the right corner, I'll put that video if you want to check it out. But this is much faster because we're not having to cut 2 strips and glue them down. We're just going to glue this one big piece down first and fast. All right, so I have some liquid glue here somewhere. Here we go. So I'm going to attach my designer series paper to that card base. So it's a flat card base. The base itself does not have a fold and doesn't open and shut, because our focal piece on the front that we'll create out of this, that's the piece that is going to open and shut. All right, so lining this up with as equal borders as possible. Okay. Oh, I love the color, and I love that it's on a black background. I just think it's so bold and just a little out of the ordinary. Love it. Okay, then we're going to take this piece, and I can see that when I folded mine, it's slightly off. So I'm actually just going to take my paper trimmer and square that up because it is bothering me. So just off camera, I'm going to trim the tiniest little hair off the bottom of that piece. I mean, so tiny, it's probably less than a 1/16 of an inch, but now it's even. Okay, so this piece is going to get attached here, centered as much as you can by eyeballing it. Let's do that. And if you're a little bit fussier about the positioning, you can certainly use either a grid mat, like I usually have on my desktop, or our grid paper, which I use a lot, but for some reason I don't have a piece out today. And this will give you an idea of centering a little bit better. All right, let's go with that. So I've got my top edge, which is the folded edge of the white cardstock, right at the edge of my Mossy Meadow cardstock. I'm kind of tapping it into place there. And then this cut edge, the part that opens and shuts, lines up with the bottom. Okay, and I'm already getting like smears on my paper. What is happening today? I also hear the neighbor's gardener. If you hear that in the background, I apologize. Okay. Oh, there, I erased it. I didn't even need to worry about it because our designer paper is going to go on top. I just didn't like that smudge. Okay, so I'm attaching this piece. As I mentioned, this piece is 3 inches by 4 inches. And there are so many pretty fall papers in this packet. You could make this exact same card and just change up the papers and end up with a whole bunch of one-of-a-kinds just by changing the paper. You could even do the same focal point like we're going to do with the pumpkin. But the paper itself just can really change the look. Okay, so there we've got that. There's our card design. It goes together really fast. All right, let's put together our pumpkin and then we'll do our stamping. So you're welcome to fiddle around with the pumpkin pieces and find a shape that works for you. I'll tell you how I did it. I'm also looking for, I want to show you another item that's in those dies. just to educate you, okay, we're using 3 of the same cut out from one die, but there's also this die. All right, so if you wanted to, this will make a little bit shorter, fatter pumpkin. So if you wanted to, you would cut 1 of these and 2 of these and glue those pieces together, and you end up with this pumpkin shape, which is also lovely. All right, but for our card, I wanted a taller, skinnier pumpkin, so we went with method number 2. All right, but that is part of the die set that coordinates. All right, so for my pumpkin, I took these 2 and lined them up, touching, like so. Easy to remember. And then I glued the 3rd one on top of it. So I'm going to do that now. I think I'll use my tear and tape for this. I'll be putting 2 strips onto the back of this one piece. I think I can fit 2. That one's going to be at an angle, a nice straight angle. And this one, I'm kind of working over to the side there. Let's straighten it out. Okay, I'll put those 2 back straight and touching as soon as I release the backing paper of my tear and tape. Okay, oh, sorry, I bumped you. Okay, so back to where we were. These 2 touching. I'm also using my grid just so they're sitting down low at the same level, okay? I've got that little line there. Your white grid paper would do the same. Then this little 3rd piece, I feel like needs to be almost as low, but not quite. And by sticking that down like that, I've got my pumpkin. Okay, so the 3 pieces go together really easily, and I think that you can see that texture that's on there. All right, let's put our stem on, and a glue dot on here would be great. Since my tear and tape is right here, I'm just going to use a piece of it. Oh, and it's sticking to everything in its vicinity. All right, so I'm just going to add a tiny little square of this. I'm putting it on the front of the bottom of that stem. And that way I can place it right where I want it. I kind of want it tucked down in there. I don't want too high of a stem on this project. It's a little stumpy stem. Okay, and then we need to add our little vine. I tell you, this simple little die cut piece makes the pumpkin. Look at, oh, super cute. So because it's such a tiny place and I don't want any extra glue getting anywhere, I'll just grab my silicone mat, lay that down. I want the tiniest little dabs of glue that I can manage. So as you can see, I started it over here and now I'm just adding tiny little touches. So tiny you can't see them. My cross-lock tweezers would probably come in handy dealing with this little vine. In fact, trying to pick it up, it might be easier to use them. So let's just get those and grab this guy like so. Okay. Nope, I don't need this anymore. All right, and then you can really position this just about any way that you want to. There's really no wrong way. So I'm going to do it this way with the little loop at the bottom. All right, so that is as cute as can be. All right, let's go ahead and attach this to the card. Now, if you wanted to, you could do some dimensionals on the back of here. I'm just going to go ahead and attach it flat. But that would be a nice option. Okay, this is going to go in the bottom very corner of this panel, down pretty low, like right at the bottom of the green paper. And the reason for that is we need enough space up here for our greeting, our sentiment, which we're just going to stamp the word hello. And we're going to do that on this little scrap piece of white. All right, so I've got the hello stamp here. Now, it is a little bit of a finicky font, let's just say. So I would highly recommend some practice stamping before you stamp it on your project for the first time. You want to make sure that it gets nice and inky, well inked. Yeah, I guess that says it all. Well inked. All right, so I'm happy with it. And let's get that onto our strip. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it towards the far left side. And that way we can trim this and do a banner edge. Oh, it's crooked. Let me try again. I haven't put my labels on here yet, which would probably help a little bit, but okay, let's do one more practice because I want to see what I need to adjust. Okay, if I do it straight, it will be straight. Okay, we're going with this one no matter what. Straight or not. Ooh, much better. Okay. So what I'm going to do is trim some of the end off of this side. I think that's going to be enough. And so now I've brought it down to about 2 3/8, okay, if you're concerned about that. And I'm going to grab the Pick a Banner punch, which is this one. And we're going to use this part. So when I flip it over, it's the top one, okay? And what I want to do is slide my little piece in and watch it on this underside to make sure that it's nice and straight. So it can be a little tricky the first time out or two if you haven't used your Pick-a-Punch a lot. So you could just take a strip of paper and practice a couple times. All right, come on out. There we go. And besides that, if you do not have the Pick-a-Punch, of course you can hand trim or fussy cut your own banner end. And this is how you would do that. You make your snip in the center of the paper first. Then you go from the corner to that center snip where you stopped, and from the other corner. And of course you could make this shallower or deeper of a V, however you want. But that's a way to make the banner punch without or the banner end without a punch. Okay, enough of that little tip. Okay, so I'm going to attach this. Liquid glue is great. There was the wrong side. Isn't that fun? See, paper has two sides. You always have a second chance. All right, I'm going to put this at an angle, but there's a lot of room for personal creativity there. I put it on the wrong one. That's the crooked one. Okay, that's kind of funny. We're going to go with it. How about that? Okay, so tip, when you make a mistake and you flip it over, it does not hurt to put like a little scratch mark through it or something, because then at a glance I would have seen that that's the wrong side. But because it's at an angle, it kind of camouflages it, and I'm not going to sweat it. All right, we're going to put a little embellishment here. there are a couple of choices. If you have black dots from the catalog, one of those would work. If you have, where's my matte black dots? These ones come in a variety, an assortment of colors. Oh, my black ones are down here in the bag. So these come in white, cream, gray, and black. One of those would work. And a third option, in case you're rummaging through your embellishments to see what you have, would be these lovely little rustic metallic. So I used a black on this one. I'll use the rustic metallic for today. Then you can see it two different ways. I'm going to use the larger. There's a small and large. I'm going to use this larger size and just put it right here. It just dresses up our little tag. And again, we're not going to pay any attention to my word being a little crooked. All right, for the inside of the card, I'm going to stamp this one. Again, I haven't put my labels on yet. It's a brand new stamp set for me. This says, "You are such a blessing." I do know from previous stamping this one that I was prone to catch an edge. So I am going to ink very carefully without wiggling my stamp around too much. I'm going to stamp a practice one. Okay, I'm not catching an edge, but I do want it a little bit inkier. See, it's again that funky font that you want to make sure you get enough ink. Okay, that's going to be just fine. After I do this one, I'll show you one that I made a boo-boo on and how I fixed that. Okay, again, I'm inking, making sure I haven't caught an edge. You know when you get ink on the edge of your stamp and then it makes a smear? All right, so that's going to go right here. We'll trust that I don't have any mistakes and have to show you how I fix it. I'll show you one that's already fixed. Oh, I love it. Okay. And then just for fun, and because it's fall and because I love leaves, let's also add a couple of leaves. So I have Mossy Meadow ink and also Cajun Craze. So on the inside here, I'll just add two leaves. All right, one kind of up at this angle. I like how it's going over the fold. It's spilling over to this part of the card. I kind of like that. So that was intentional. And then clean it off before I get my Cajun Craze. Now, if you don't like that look, then you could do your leaves down here instead. But I really wanted it to overflow onto the top flap. All right, and here's Cajun Craze, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay, so there's our inside. You could add more leaves if you want, or no leaves if you don't want the leaves. What I will plan to do is create a coordinating envelope that goes with this, and I'll put leaves on the envelope. That's how I'll tie the envelope together with the card. Okay, at that point, we are finished. I told you I would show you one that I had made a mistake. So this card, the one with the black embellishment, when I stamped the words, I totally got a smear from the edge. It looked like this. Where's my little practice paper that I just had? I'm going to try to make this exaggerated. Okay. It was like, I can't even do it wrong now. Great. Okay. One more time. All right. It was like that. It had a smear. A little line, either at the bottom or at the top somewhere. So all I did was stamp a new one on a piece of white cardstock, punch it out with an oval, and covered it. So I covered my mistake, and that is a great way, because you already put all this effort into your card, then you make a mistake on the inside. You've got to know ways to correct that, or fix it or camouflage it without having to start all over. So that's a great way to fix a boo-boo. And look, on this one I did leave a leaf down below too. So there are a couple of different options. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear from you. If you would be so kind to leave a comment and or a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something new. And I do want to mention two things. One is an event that I am inviting all local people to. I do live in Southern California, just above the San Diego County line. And if you are going to be in the area on Saturday, October 1st, please RSVP to me that you would like to come to my World Card Making Day event. World Card Making Day is actually a thing, and I am celebrating by co-hosting an event at my house with a colleague, and we are going to have cards that you can make. We're going to have packets that you can buy and take home and make on your own. We are going to have a made by hand marketplace with a variety of handcrafted items for sale, not just cards, gift items, gift card holders, home decor, all kinds of things. So if you think that you would like to come, please contact me directly and RSVP. That is on Saturday, October 1st, 2022 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The last announcement that I want to make before I let you go is in regards to Zoom classes that will be starting shortly. I'm going to be offering some Zoom classes, also some mystery stamping classes on Zoom. If that is of interest to you, because we can meet online, you can be from all across the country. Please leave me a message letting me know that you're interested in that, and then we can connect outside of the comments, and I can be sure and send you information when those Zoom classes will be starting. Thank you again for watching. Please look for the other videos, and in the meantime, see you next time and happy stamping.